Good morning, and just to let you know, this isn't a defence of anyone that I mention. I got the idea for this from Gushin's recent video on the Contrapoints controversy, and I'm very interested in group dynamics. Not that I am an expert on anything, but I kind of want to get an overview of things and understand things. And if you don't know who any of the people are that I will be talking about, I could maybe try and explain in the comments. Twitter discourse, as it's known, is a delicate thing. It's vital that we're able to voice our opinions and our fears, and a great number of issues that wouldn't normally have seen the light have been explored because of social media. Bringing these things to our attention, and real change is happening in society. So I want to make the point that we need to keep talking and fighting over political issues, big events, and daily coping under oppressive systems and so on. Personally, I'm lucky not to have been involved in any big online drama. I have been piled on slightly in some circumstances. For example, when I came out in support of Weird Tales magazine announcing that they were returning and also not going to be allowing any racism and so on. But other than the odd thing, I'd say generally I've stayed pretty clear. And from what I've noticed, I would like to discuss the 4 stages leading to the toxic Twitter beast. The first 3 stages aren't toxic, so we'll just make that clear, that the beast in its final form is incredibly toxic. So number 1, you have the initial stage, the egg. It's the event that causes some people to be annoyed, hurt, angry, whichever. So back to James Charles, Tati's Bye Sister video, or Contrapoints pronoun tweets. Incidentally, Kat Black did an interesting video on pronouns, and her Tuesday tea videos were a huge inspiration for me to just sit down and talk to you about stuff. So quick thanks to Kat Black there. Or Heidi's tweets on ProJared being an abusive and unfaithful husband. Or Angie going on Peter Coffin's channel. The next stage is the lava, the legitimate criticism. Those who are troubled by what they've seen, the implications of it. For example, those who felt invalidated by Contrapoints tweets, or fans who may have been upset that ProJared was abusive to his wife, people concerned about James Charles abusing his position, that kind of thing. And then you have the pupa. Some are very angry, and it's important not to tone police in certain situations, depending what it is, I suppose. Anger is valid. We have to be honest about what we're feeling, and then we can work from there. The initial reaction to things is often not quite as harsh as our later one. So we've got, obviously, to allow for people to feel stuff. But then there is the final form, the lumbering, twisted, bloated beast. This often involves deception, manipulation of words, things like that. One example, and this is tricky because if you've experienced something really awful, you may not want to discuss it on your actual personal account. You may want to hide behind anonymity, and that's completely understandable. The reactions to these things can get a lot, so I understand. But at the same time, one sign that things have got toxic is when an anonymous account will pop up with unverifiable claims. For example, what James Charles did to a lad at his school, which turned out to possibly not be true. Basically, fake accounts will pop up with no previous post history, accuse people of predatory behaviour, or even something much lower key, like there was a girl called Hyojin who was accused of being abusive to somebody's dog, and it was on an account that had just popped up and people took it for face value, and if that person is already under fire. People will just see it and say, oh, well, clearly she's a terrible person, she's abusive to dogs. And it snowballs, you know. And the subject's past words will emerge with distorted intentions. Various rumours will begin, either from the fake accounts or just from people in general. And there'll be a deliberate simplification of a person's stance or intentions. Angie got a lot of racial abuse, Hyojin got a lot of racial abuse, and of course, death threats. So basically, discourse is important, and there are situations where anger and outrage are completely understandable and necessary for change. There are also situations where people need to take a step back and question whether they're adding anything of value. Are you sharing the feelings that are burning deep inside, or are you just addicted to the sweet dopamine of retweets? So yeah, that's possibly Twitter drama in kind of a nutshell, I feel. Yeah, let me know what you think. Always open to criticism and hearing your stuff. So have a nice day. Goodbye.